it real simplistic. Here's examples of white privilege. Not having to worry about your hairstyle the day of an important interview. Another example, not having to worry about your ethnic sounding name, Lakeisha, Shawanda, from preventing you from being hired. One more example that personally has impacted me, not having to worry about the manager of Von Maur or Macy's or Neiman Marcus follow you around, even though I'm carrying my $3,000 Gucci bag, wearing my black mink, and drive a late model luxury vehicle. Those are issues that some who have white privilege probably never have to contend with. So white privilege is real and it needs to be addressed and acknowledged.
Welcome to the Only Male Cruz Show, the podcast. I am the only Male Cruz. Copyright disclaimer regarding fair use is in full effect. The views and opinions expressed in this show are all mine. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. You know I want to hear from you. Let's go. Welcome to the Only Male Cruz Show, the podcast. I am the only Male Cruz. The term microaggression has been watered down or is unknown to most people. Today we're looking at a situation where Title VII civil rights violations were alleged and filed against an employer. Workplace civil rights violations will continue to be years-long battles if we fail to include ridding microaggressions as a key component to successful diversity and inclusion trainings. Today's episode, louder for the people in the black. Let's go to work, y'all. Okay, y'all. Thanks for pulling up to the Only Male Cruz Show, the podcast. Whew. Thanks for coming over here, y'all. You know, I'm just trying to go live and do this for the first time. My gang, y'all know what it is because I sure put in there. I'm scared. I do need to shout out Sean David Way for even just pulling up. Sean, I can't even express all the love I have for you. And I'm happy to drop the link for anybody that wants to come up here and get into this conversation with me. So y'all know I had to come from behind the avatar because they're mean out here on these YouTube streets. But that's another video for another day, and certainly not one that I'll be getting into. So just know that. But today, we are talking about microaggression because I'm on a campaign, y'all. They used to say that hypertension was the silent killer of African Americans. And in my opinion, microaggression is the silent killer. It's the silent career killer of Black women. And they say that people don't quit jobs, they quit managers. So let me drop this link real quick and hopefully anybody that's interested, because yeah, here we go. I'll drop this link real quick. Anybody that wants to pull up, you are welcome to. You can be on or off camera, doesn't matter to me. It's my first time being live on YouTube, so you know. Let's see, let me go to this chat real quick. Because I can't even read I can't read the comments and I can't do all that. So anybody that want to pull up, you can help me out. I appreciate it. So anyway, back to this microaggression, because it's really important. And like I said, people don't quit jobs, they quit managers. And so the watered down version of microaggression is a brief and commonplace daily verbal, behavioral, environmental slight, whether intentional or unintentional, that communicates hostility, derogatory or negative attitudes towards stigmatized or culturally marginalized groups. The original definition was coined by a Black psychiatrist from Harvard University named Chester M. Pierce in 1970. So that just goes to show you how long this has been going on. And he came up with this phrase or this definition or this word microaggression to describe insults and dismissals which he regularly witnessed non-Black Americans inflicting on African Americans, period. So it has nothing to do with intentional or unintentional and all this other stuff, the watered down version. So now the term microaggression is used as a blanket, and it covers any and every marginalized person, group, or condition. And that's why, to me, it's lost its effectiveness, especially as it relates to aiding the Black person's fight against civil rights violations, discrimination, and all that. So Black women on a daily basis, multiple times a day, in various professional and social environments, we have to contend with microaggression. So we're looking today at a case from, I found this article in the Pentagraph. Let me try to work this out a little bit. I do want to shout out Kelsey Wattsnauer, I believe it is, from the Pentagraph. She wrote an article on Dr. Carla Campbell Jackson. All right, she used to be an employee at State Farm, and she filed a suit against State Farm, alleging discriminatory practices, violation of Title VII civil rights. So she filed a suit, and it ended up, of course, she filed her suit, and the EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, they got involved. And this lady is the first vice president of the Bloomington, Normal, Illinois NAACP branch. She filed this charge in 2016 with the EEOC, alleging that her Title VII rights were violated. Racism, discrimination, retaliation are the violations that she's accused the Bloomington-based insurance company of committing. But Dr. Campbell cannot discuss, the details, the specifics. And neither can State Farm or the EEOC. So, and generally when something like that happens, it's because, it's in litigation or what have you. So they can't discuss it. And on February 5th, 2021, the EEOC issued a determination of reasonable cause in the charge filed by Dr. Campbell Jackson, which means that the agency, EEOC, found evidence that gave reason to believe discrimination did, in fact, occur. Now, State Farm says that the allegations don't align with the company's values, and of course, they wouldn't go into details either when they were interviewed. They also said that there's been no legal determination that State Farm has violated any state or federal discrimination law. And I can see where they are coming with that, because Title VII is so vague that, the employers can get away with this. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, as amended, protects employees and job applicants from employment discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, and national origin. That's it. So it doesn't get into the details. And that's why understanding and utilizing this term microaggression is so important, because a lot of us are entrepreneurs, you know what I mean? Or we will go ahead and just, you get ratchet with me, I'll get ratchet right back with you. I don't have a problem with it. I'll find it. I was looking for a job when I found this one. Some of us, we're going to stand up because it's just how we do. But so State Farm can say, well, we didn't violate any federal law, So with EEOC, finally in June, just earlier, June 11th, I think it was. Let me check my notes. In June 11th, 2021, EEOC's online records indicated that conciliation was unsuccessful. And so they issued Dr. Campbell Jackson a notice of right to sue. And as far as conciliation, if you make a complaint to EEOC, before you can just arbitrarily go and get a lawyer, I'm suing y'all. Before you can do that, EEOC's responsibility is to get in there and try to work it out. And, so apparently successful conciliation did not occur. So they issued Dr. Campbell Jackson the right to sue. According to her, she says she and her team are determining their options. Obviously, the EEOC will provide the documents that she's going to need to move forward. And it's unclear why they couldn't work it out before having to go to court. And once she goes to court, it's going to cost her. She's going to be responsible for those lawyer fees unless she wins and State Farm, is required to pay the lawyer fees. So now it's all going to be in her pocket. And bear in mind, this was filed in 2016. We are now in 2021. And I think in one of the articles I read, she's asking, like her back pay, if she were to be awarded it, would be like almost $500,000, because you're looking at all these years of back pay that she would get if it has been determined that she left the job or was fired from the job, under illegal terms, so to speak, under, discrimination, etc. Shout out to Pink Unicorn. Pink Unicorn, I love you. Shout out to Miss Gardner. Thank y'all for pulling up. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. I appreciate y'all doing that. Leave a comment. I want to hear from you. Share. So anyway, back to this subject at hand. So it's unclear why the conciliation efforts failed. And so Campbell Jackson hasn't determined yet if she's going to file or anything. Now, according to State Farm, they say these allegations do not align with our values. State Farm is committed to a diverse and inclusive environment where all customers and associates are treated with fairness, respect, and dignity. So let's break it down. The allegations filed against State Farm, according to State Farm, don't align with their values. Yet the allegations were egregious enough to file a complaint with the EEOC. The EEOC attempted to secure successful conciliation, which is the action of mediating between two disputing groups of people. But even though, according to a State Farm spokesperson, the allegations don't align with their State Farm values, why was conciliation unsuccessful? Why couldn't you work it out? If what Dr. Campbell Jackson alleged is not in line with how y'all get down, State Farm, why couldn't y'all come up with a successful conciliation? And it appears that because Title VII is so vague, why would an employer cooperate to have a successful conciliation? As long as you did whatever happened wasn't specific. Specific. There's no, you can make the claim. Oh, well, we didn't violate any federal laws or anything of that nature. And the vagueness of Title VII is why, in my opinion, is why State Farm can say that, they didn't violate anything. But this is why the term microaggression has to be re-empowered. Because the EEOC authorized and issued a notice of right to sue because the EEOC recognizes microaggression. It recognizes behaviors, microaggressive behaviors, as discriminatory. I'm going to put this slide up real quick. And that's not the right slide. But anyway, with microaggressions, and here again, on here is this nice little watered down versions. Microaggressions are everyday verbal, nonverbal, environmental slights, snubs, or insults, whether intentional or unintentional, which communicate hostile, derogatory, or negative messages to target persons based solely upon their marginalized group membership. See, that's so weak. It's so weak. But either way, what is positive is that the EEOC recognized it, and therefore they gave Dr. Carla Campbell Jackson the right to sue. So before I go further, I just want to give, I'm going to play this clip real quick of Dr. Carla Campbell Jackson talking about white privilege, her view, because she really is reflecting a strong Black woman right here. So check this out.
To make it real simplistic, here's examples of white privilege. Not having to worry about your hairstyle the day of an important interview. Another example, not having to worry about your ethnic sounding name, Lakeisha, Shawanda, from preventing you from being hired. One more example that personally has impacted me, not having to worry about the manager of Bon Mar or Macy's or Neiman Marcus follow you around, even though I'm carrying my $3,000 Gucci bag, wearing my black mink, and drive a late model luxury vehicle. Those are issues that some who have white privilege probably never have to contend with. So white privilege is real and it needs to be addressed and acknowledged.
And that's facts. I agree with that statement 100%. And I would presume that the people, you guys probably agree with it as well. And that's why we have to start using this word. And what brought me to the word again is, I was feeling some microaggression, but I didn't know what to call it. I was like, oh, it's racism. It's racist. It's this. But microaggression gets to the heart of it. So ultimately, when we talk about microaggression, or when we talk about diversity and inclusion, because if y'all notice, if you're staying on top of the news or whatever, diversity and inclusion are two buzzwords that they're really pushing around right now. Oh, we want to promote diversity and inclusion in the workplace, et cetera, this and that. But unless they include and recognize the term microaggression as it was initially defined, then we have to demand that the subject of microaggression and the initial definition be included in the conversation of diversity and inclusion. Because there's no way, like you hear a lot too of, oh, it's unconscious bias, or they're doing it unconsciously. If I'm talking to you in a store and in the process of you ringing me up or telling me what the prices are on a, expensive watch or whatever, and somehow you black out and start calling me the N-word or making these racial slurs and whatnot towards me, is that the part where you become unconscious? And then as soon as you've insulted me, now you're back conscious again? That term, that unconscious term, all that does is waters down the insult, and it gives the people doing the insulting room to say, oh, I didn't realize I was doing that. You knew what you were doing. Because as soon as I unconscious bias you, you're going to be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to accept that I was unconscious when I did it. You understand what I mean? So I think the language is so important. And if they're going to push around this unconscious bias or unconscious whatever, then that word microaggression needs to be utilized just as heavy and just as strong. So employers, to me, that are sincere about a desire to have diversity and inclusion, they also need to embrace ending the acceptance or allowance of microaggression as a gray area. And to me, that's why it appears that State Farm can say that even though these values don't align, even though the allegations don't align with our values, legally we didn't violate any federal or state laws regarding discrimination. So we got to do better, and we have to start. We have to be the ones to bring it up. It has to be us. So anyway, y'all, that's it. That is the podcast. So I appreciate you all for showing up. This really is my first live, and I thank y'all for showing up. I thank you for the support. Be sure to follow me on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Station Head, right here on, and leave a comment, because I want to hear from you. And if you've got a show idea or topic you wish to discuss, hit me up, let me know. We can talk about it. So until next time, we will see ya when we see ya. And thanks again. I appreciate all y'all. See ya.